All right. Let's talk about the rest of this draft because, yes, O line is an issue, but what other things besides the trenches? Let's not talk O line. Let's not talk D line. What are the other things that need to be addressed in this draft, in your opinion?
Yeah, I've always kind of been a guy that maybe didn't put as much value in needing like multiple shutdown corners. But after I saw what Kansas City was able to do with, Snead and McDuffie, it gives them so much versatility, especially in an offensive, minded league now where you're going up against 2, 3 really good receivers on every single roster. I think Mooney Ward's great. I think Demo is great. Like those two are legit, and I want them to stay there. But I would love to have a third guy that you just love, and I don't think we have that. I know Ambry Thomas is somebody that I really liked coming out of the draft, and he made me look like a fool for most of it. And then last year he had some really good games, and then he had some games that weren't so good. Having a dependable guy that's there, I think is what I want, what I would want. Like I would want to really focus in on getting another very talented cornerback that could, so that we have Mooney, Demo, and insert this cornerback as the three corners that you could just leave them on an island playing man and be fine. Right? Have the secondary actually help the defensive line get more sacks versus vice versa, which has always kind of been the philosophy here with the 49ers. And I think along with that, Jesse, a safety, because even though I think Brown is great, I think Hufanga is great. We don't know what Hufanga is going to look like after an ACL, right? What's going to be lost, if he's still going to be there. But regardless, we do know that after those two, if one of those goes down, who's there, right? And we've been blessed that Gibson was so good for us. Is he coming back, and is he going to be able to play at the same level? I would like to have him on the team because as he's been on the team and he's always looked good for us. But I think having another young safety, and it seems like the 49ers do a great job drafting that position. If they could get another third round, fourth round safety that could, give us some depth, if not step into a starting lineup, to me, that's the two positions that I would really like to see them hit on.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. Secondary is definitely needed. They need let's think about what they've got. They let go of TDP. Okay. Mm-hmm. So that means let's just look at what they're probably going to draft. And I think these are areas of need, maybe not the biggest areas of need, but it is an area of need. They're going to need another running back. Mm-hmm. And they're probably going to try to figure out tight end as well, because I think they swung and missed last year. Cameron Latu, unless somehow he can turn it around, which I just don't think he's that good. They're probably going to need another tight end. So I expect that somewhere in this draft, they take tight end and they take a running back as well. So whether that's what we want them to do, but I do think that tight end is an area of need. I mean, we're going to talk about the core of the team, but Kittle's on the other side of 30. They've never really had that second tight end. They've tried and tried and tried, but they've got to figure out how to move on from George Kittle here eventually. And that means that every year until Kittle's gone, you probably have to draft a tight end somewhere and hope that they can turn into the second guy and eventually replace George Kittle. Maybe not at the level of George Kittle, but they have to have some sort of talent at that position, because right now they've really been lacking at the tight end position outside of George for a very, very long time.
Yeah, but when you say lacking of talent outside of George Kittle is an all-pro. So most teams don't have and like most teams will look like they're lacking talent outside of an all-pro guy. I get what you're saying.
Yeah, but I don't know that like Dwelly or Latu or any of these guys would start on any of these teams, to be real with you. I mean, even if it's who's a serviceable tight end in this league, but not great. Somebody like Higbee or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to be great, but you're still a decent tight end. I don't know.
I could see them. I
They
could
need
see
something.
them. I could see them getting Band-Aid through free agency for the tight end position. But I agree with you. I just think on the hierarchy of things, tight end isn't as important to me. I still think they have more time with Kittle. We're going to get to that in the core. I believe Kittle is still playing at a really high level, and everybody's waiting for that fall off. We still haven't seen it. So I think they have a couple more years with Kittle, even 2 or 3 more years with Kittle. But yeah, to me, it's secondary because ultimately, I think for this, what we've seen with the issues with this defense, Jesse, late in games when the team needs a stop, it tends to be secondary issues, right? And so we need to be able to have confidence that guys could play man. We could get pressure on the quarterback and not have to play zone as much in those late game stages, because obviously guys like Mahomes, whomever we're playing in the playoffs in the Super Bowl is going to be somebody that could carve up the zone. So we need guys the man to man, and we just saw what Kansas City was able to do. They kept their corners man to man, and that allowed them to get pressure on the quarterback, and ultimately that was what won them the game. So to me, I think that should be the shift in the 49ers mentality.
Did you see, side note, did you see the Chiefs are likely to franchise tag L'Jarius Sneed and then maybe work out a trade for him?
Yeah.
Smart. I mean, very, very smart.
They have to, right? I mean, they're paying their quarterback what they're paying him. And that's ultimately, I think, where you get, I think, unwarranted flack when you talk about Purdy is you're looking at that, right? You're looking at, you're okay with franchising and trading away really good talent when you have a quarterback that can make everybody better and fill in those gaps, and you don't think Purdy is that guy yet. And I don't think anybody could look at it and be like, he's for sure that guy. But yeah, like I absolutely know. And that's Kansas City has a lot of wiggle room because they have the right guy at quarterback.
Yeah, most certainly. I mean, it seems like they're going to make a priority with Jones. And then they also had another really good corner this year that was supposed to, well, not McDuffie. There's somebody else, but he was on IR. So I think that they're ready to just slide him into slot 1 and go get some capital for L'Jarius Sneed and then figure it out from there, man. It's interesting to see how these teams that were near the top, the Ravens, the 49ers, the Bills, the Lions, the Chiefs, obviously, how they're going to attack this offseason with different things available to them. The Lions have a lot of money available to them. They can go out and retool that roster on the fly. Maybe they go trade for a L'Jarius Sneed. So I'm curious just to see how this whole thing plays out.
Mm-hmm.